admit this. Okay, admit this happened. You know what? This isn't even gonna go onto this channel. I figured it's gonna go into my third channel, which is where this is going to lead to. Then I'm going to post this to my third channel so it doesn't have to clutter up my main channel that's so far going on a streak of just Roblox videos, and I want to keep it that way, not have my face randomly interrupt what's going on. So now I guess it is decided now these other videos can go into their own playlist, like the one I remade, but I add them manually from my third channel to my main official channel's playlist. I can do that instead. And the fact that I had to make this video is really disappointing because you already read the title, and that's what's going to be discussed today, is the fact that we still have this sort of really stupid fight over the taste of music and our taste in people. And I'm going to use those very lightly because we're still on it. Basically the people that I know who are a lot older than I am are still, they're basically de-evolving back to what we were just trying to work hard on, which is the thing about accepting people as they are. And second of all, our music choices, which have been so far localized to utter oblivion here, which has been so specified that I'm actually scared that some of these people are just going back to, not the younger people I know, but the older people who are so far still stuck with something they've listened to for like the past 3-4 decades. And that's impressive on its own, but also that's 3-4 decades with the same music choice that explores really old topics within their lyrics that are outdated compared to what happened now. And some of those people that are very in their music, those artists are sort of now older and still stuck on the idea that we are still struggling to accept people as they are, and also cultures, expressions, and things like that. For example, the color pink is still something discussed as, oh, it's gay. That is really stupid. First of all, pink is a wavelength. There's also a lot of different tones, shades of pink that exist currently in the dictionary, maybe that you could name, that, in art ones that describe the many ways pink is made with all these sort of hues, tones, and shades and darknesses. In contrast, that's how you'd be able to do it. There's multiple mediums that explore pink. Second, third, fourth, fifth, our cultures don't even see pink the same way. I don't get why people still think pink is, oh, it's just it's related to girls. If it's on a guy, it's gay. I see guys wearing pink in turbans and stuff around in India, in Japan, literally connecting pink with cherry blossoms and flowers, which aren't even related to, just about any excuse these days for around some of the people that are older that I know to say, oh, if it's pink, it's just they see cherry blossoms because flowers means girl. Second of all, flowers wasn't always connected to girls, idiot. Flowers had evolved over time, and we've significantly changed their genetic output and look and how they breed and spawn everywhere. Most of them are naturally made from Earth, and again, some of them are now extinct. Certain species of flowers. A lot of flowers didn't originally mean, oh, it's because female. No, it also sometimes related to males. And we also have people pulling off the shade of pink differently in different countries that seem for like different things in other ways. I had to check this out, actually, funny enough, to see what these are. And even in Latin America, specifically Latin America, different countries, different mindsets, different things going on. But we had one where they think, oh, because my country told me so. But in Latin America, a lot of countries see pink as just because it's vibrant. Literally, Mexico, an example, didn't originally have to see pink as that way. By the way, this thing was sort of a psychological phenomenon that companies use later on when they try to do gender colors that we currently know today, that even I have a problem with, where they're using colors to reference things and force this narrative on it. And by the way, it's not just Mexico, don't worry. I'm not coming at you Mexicans, you have nothing to do with this. I fault the people who sold products and tried to gender every single felon thing that they sell to you. Now they do, by the way, much more. And prevalently, there are cases, lawsuits, people complaining, there are people being thrown into jail, maybe mindsets are passed around, laws in states that discriminate and undervalue a person's literal self-value, that literally attack the very existence of themselves existing for believing in something. second, third, fifth, fourth, and fifth. I'm gonna say that again. Whatever you say about me is what you say about society. I had to deal with people going, well, because this person gay, cause like boy, cause like girl, 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 boy, boy. I could not care less. Those are still humans. If they did something illegal, you can go ahead. If they did something illegal, go ahead. But if it's something that is nothing to do with illegal and it's just some stupid law that attacks them for simple things that actually have nothing to do with immorality, which they attach to immorality, saying, oh, if you do this and you marry this person and this person because you're just gender and they're this gender, it's illegal. Those are literally just two humans. There's just two humans liking each other. What the hell is wrong with it? Where are we going? All right. So because I wear a black hoodie and they're wearing a green hoodie, now it's racist and it's illegal and I can't marry somebody in my hoodie. That's literally just something you wear. It is just a hoodie. Where we have we gone with this? So we went in reverse on that. We did. And what does this have to do with music? Well, funny enough that I bring up with music. I always bring up music. It's like one of the most sparse, most active, most, well, you can literally see everywhere. We humans literally, one of the first things we evolved, patterns, stuff that we did when we were evolving and growing up as humans. It is literally historically recorded that music was essential to a lot of inventions and things that have occurred across different times and eras that explain our human behavior currently now, even from our more prior primitive transformations that we went through, the stages, and how we out survived other past variations of ourselves, which you see now. I still have this thing. I still got this like vein thing that they still pop up. Some people don't have that because they've evolved without veins invisible on their wrists. And music, what does it have to do with it? Because of elitism and localization, people have so specified music in such an extreme. If they've been doing it in millions, by the way, this has happened for decades. I know this is something everyone does. Is localize all their music, not go through the effort of finding new music, and then just sticking with the same thing for like a long amount of time. Saying this is nostalgia, everybody should like this. But then somebody who was born like 10, 15 years before you say, no, this is what everybody should listen to. This is what everybody thinks is nostalgia. But you don't see as nostalgia. You say, that's old. That's boring. That doesn't make any sense at all. What the fellas, look, think of it this way. These are sounds that pleasure you. They make you feel happy, sad, distraught, nervous, anxious, happy, literally exploding, glorious, magical, ethereal, lonely, traumatic. So music could be any sounds, maybe uncomfortable, maybe really comforting. It could be any tone, any key. There's even other forms of education around music. You can see music as well in like different tones, values, speeds, and you can hear different rhythms and patterns done in ingenious ways with the human touch. Besides the AI stuff, which is utter trash, by the way, which I those ads that are AI now they're invading my phone. Besides, because I've seen exactly zero things related to AI besides Neurosoma, which is an AI VTuber, but that doesn't have to do with me wanting to have an AI girlfriend. That they think that I'm still friendly to wanting an AI girlfriend and download some very fishy app that wants your payment info just so that they can steal your credit card information and sell it to other companies that want to use it to, like, I don't know, maybe take and withdraw money from your card later on and do that same thing for like another 1,000 victims that downloaded their very fishy app that actually has no secure third party transaction payment processor. So think of that as you will. So they localized all this music. What do I mean by that? It's like, say, for my country in America, there's a limited variation of music that, well, people choose. They don't search for like other stuff. They don't use the filters. Though it's like an option there. Not everyone does it. Some people allow this music to just randomize. For example, on Spotify, Pandora, iHeart Music, SoundCloud, YouTube Music, Spotify, there's like different other sorts of radios. So we have iTunes as well. But they just let it randomize every single other time. But that does that mean everyone does it? No, I'm not saying everyone just lets it randomize. Very few actually search up something they might have heard. Maybe they search and tap music and check tabs and click on videos they don't recognize that have links. Here's another problem is length of songs. People have become so out of tune with allowing a song to be longer than like 4 minutes. I don't get what happened, but suddenly 2 minutes is like the next standard. That is utterly ridiculous. First of all, even if you try to convince me that this is the future, that is really stupid. First of all, it takes as long for me to brush my teeth as long length of a song. Just so you all know, if it's like 2 minute 30, that's like the length it takes me for to finish washing my teeth, which is really stupid. If a song was like 2 minute 30, that's a song. No, 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 no. 3 minutes was the exact minimum a song can be. Much more average, on average, back then when I saw it happen. And second, whenever somebody panics at, oh, this song is not my language, I'm noticing that too. You're basically racist. You basically lack musical expansion. Your options are limited. They're not expressive. It's not open. You have a lack of an open mind, and suddenly your channel, your social media, everything that you post is only about you, and without you knowing it, you've just become racist without knowing it by excluding music that simply isn't in your language. Maybe it's because it's not your favorite genre that your country thinks is right, or your family convinced you is right, is the only music that you think is right, that you think everybody should listen to. And I said think because a lot of people go by their sentiment, which is also obviously not trained, not at all smart at all. They just feel their sentiment and say, oh, this song sounds like rock, so it's bad. In India, we only listen to psytrance and psychedelic rock and blah blah blah, a bunch of random stuff to make any sort of excuse to not listen to any other sort of music. That's really stupid. I've seen that in huge content creators, small content creators, normal people, older people, younger people. That seems to be an issue. It's also a generational issue, but not just that. It's like any generation issue. Here's another thing that they must think about. Music's so damn accessible already. It's been already accessible. You just don't search for any new forms of music. You're too scared. You don't want to open your mind to any forms of other forms of expression, which is where I'm going to get into cultural related stuff. When a culture supposedly gives you this narrative where something that this right here, basically, oh, this song, this sort of genre stuff is terrible, is devil, it is satanic and stuff like that. And well, it's not satanic and that sort of stuff. I don't get where the fuck they're getting this from. Suddenly, let's see, metal, Hawaii metal is suddenly gay. That is just a form of rock music. It is a subgenre of certain rock, metal. So there's a long list of genres, subgenres. I'm not going to try to name them here today in this video. You're looking to me about discrimination and racism. Well, here we are. Suddenly, if I listen to Japanese music, suddenly makes me gay. That's what a bunch of Mexican friends say without even doing their research. The people that I know, and I'm going to call you filling out. I don't care. I know somebody that I know is gonna watch this video and get ticked off by that. I do not care. You've just done enough to be racist without even knowing. You're actually genuinely doing something racist by excluding a certain crowd of people that might just be curious enough to open their arms to allow you to see something else new for free without any fight. They want to do that. Oh, I listened to some, again, J-rock song from Japan. Suddenly I'm gay because it's anime. In their country, people literally grew up with J-rock and Japanese pop and hip-hop in different sort of forms. And again, it doesn't have to be called J-pop, but that's just something they label it with because it obviously came from English origins. And other genres of music came from other countries, but they're still adopting it pretty well. They're doing it pretty fine. Nobody's complaining, but suddenly I do that and suddenly it's gay. Okay, so suddenly, okay, I'm just gonna say your music for like rapping is gay because it's a bunch of big men rapping about sadistic lyrics about women and touching women. They're PDF files for listening to that sort of music. That is stupid. See that look what I just said there is an example of what people would do, basically as an example to go away from a sort of music because they simply didn't want to listen to it. They never heard it before, by the way. So all makes their points more weaker because they never even tried at all what they're disliking. So these people just heard it from one word and are influenced to just simply exclude a sort of music. It's literally there. You literally have the power of a phone which processes much more than what rockets back then in the 60s, 70s were attempting back then. Just so you know, we used to have these massive computers that computed as much power as close to a phone and above a phone. And now we have these massive ones that are very ridiculously powerful. They exist now. And you have this entire library of any sort of opportunity to see new faces, new expression, new art, new forms of people saying, hello, I am here, welcome world, this is my world, this is what I want to show you, this is who I am. They add stories to it, and this is when they get into smaller artists, is that most cultures would like to listen to artists who are already famous and rather rarely get to explore any smaller artists. Some of the countries might have this sort of bias where they didn't exactly get to live with the internet just yet and only had it applied recently, but most of what they do is pirating because the country has a terrible service issue with being able to properly give its citizens a bunch of entertainment that they can use and utilize with, so that they're not just out there trying to work for their country and waste off their time just so they can give more money to the corporate wallet that they work under. Yeah, not all countries are as rich as the United States, if you remember. Not every single country is as friendly and as open. And then that's when I get into like freedom of expression, speech, and press. Like that's some of the most simple things, and yet people still struggle with it. It is so easy to accept somebody. It's so easy to literally accept the sort of form of music if it literally has a rhythm that makes sense. Like if it just like it has a tune that makes sense to you, that is music. That doesn't mean, again, I'm coming for the idea that people should be open to these things, not saying that you should think every song out there is good. What I mean by good is that the music has musically different elements that make it super complex, and well, it's not hard to listen. It's not just a bunch of jabbering mess of just a bunch of frequencies clashing together that doesn't make sense. And again, it's not because, oh, the music has to be danceable. No, there's like other, again, this is why genres exist. There are varieties to this. Just like you can't say, here's the here's the answer to life. This is why life is, this is the meaning of life. You can't say one sentence and it's over. You're gonna say a long question. Then again, not every single thing has a simple answer. That's where I'm getting this from. Is exclusion being so easy to do because it's complex and people don't want to do the effort to deal with that. Alright, let me pause this. And back, I took a drink of water. I had to open the door for somebody. Is the fact that we're still stuck up on just hurting people for no reason and seeing them as criminals, demons, monsters, or PDF files and weirdos for simply liking somebody else that might just be similar to them or diagnosing themselves as something else. Like, I know this is male and female thing. If they say, oh, I'm pansexual or something like that, they're just saying it. It's just a title they have. They're still human. Again, they, as long if they follow every single thing, basic respect, basic decency, basic all of these other things, then there's nothing wrong. That doesn't mean, oh, basic decency means that you have to dress up like a guy to be a guy in pants and all this other made up stuff. No. Basic decency is not randomly killing people. Like any sort of form of illegal stuff where obviously people are getting hurt, obviously there's something cult going on, like obviously like very bad things. They can't be accused of that for simply, oh, I'm lesbian or gay, something like that. And now suddenly they're a terrorist. Where the fuck are you getting this from? This doesn't make any sense. Ugh, I'm the projecting. I'm just a male. That's it. That's all it is. But I know. History. That didn't exactly go their way, where a lot of people got targeted. And I can say that for any other country besides my country that went against certain specific people and where they made it justifiable to harm these innocent people that had nothing to do with their government. And again, the government made multiple ways of just ruining and really disturbing people's form of lives, and their normal lives, is destroying it all, and trying to make it look like it's normal to do so, and tell people that this should be normal and that this should be something everybody should be doing. Well, obviously, no, that's incorrect. Nobody should be doing, oh, because now I'm wearing this green hoodie that I'm basically a terrorist and that I'm a criminal, I'm going to hurt people and do bad things. No. What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, I listen to rap music. Now I'm considered a person who uses guns and is violent and very bad person, and I hate Chinese people. Where the fuck are they getting this from? Because somebody said so. Because my cousin said so. Oh, because my girlfriend said so. Because my mother from 1932 said so. That's one of the most other and most stupid like shit I've ever heard ever before to justify something like saying I don't like it. I've literally had somebody who lived their life listen to only classical music and got them to actually listen to IDM EDM music. You know who that is? I had a cadet named Wiz go from okay, I'm not really not I can understand there's a thing with this to oh, I can see where this is going. They went from only just classical to wanting to open up to a little more different sort of things and see maybe what makes it so special. And you'd figure out that there are people genuinely trying to put effort into things that they thought was normal to them, and wherever or whenever and however they made this specific song or maybe this specific artistic expression. Say, when I made this in 1989, this is what I thought music was to me, and he added so much effort into it. But somebody in 2014 can go, that's just, this song is so bad. It's talking about so bad things, and my sister doesn't like it, and they think it's racist, and it's really bad just because their sister said so. But this song in 1989, when it was released, it was seen as revolutionary or something, and it was like a new mindset, a new approach to music that was normal to people in the 1980s, late 1980s, before entering the 90s. But in 2010, some idiot from 2014 said because their mother said it's racist and it's demonic, that the song is terrible. Makes no sense, but that's just how it went. It's just how we went. So again, coming back to this, let's just not have the entire world and some people that I know, there are people nearby. This is why I want people who are open-minded only nearby. Whenever I want to live with people, I want them to be open-minded. I don't want everybody to just randomly devolve back to where we literally just fought decades trying to fix. If you think you're a great person, why haven't you just started to open your head and maybe think maybe I'm not open about everything? So that's what we're working with. Yeah, I just needed to lay this rant down because I don't know, I just think it's fairly ridiculous. Just so y'all know, I've already had this in my head for like years. I was already years ahead, so this isn't like something I just thought of for like this recording here. I've already had this in my head stored, ready to say. I simply didn't record any of this brainstorming because previous. That's just all I have to say.